I myself am Raja Bahar, and I'm going to have my say on the topic that is dynamic teaching and learning techniques. Well, first of all, let me extend my thanks and extend my gratitude to Open Pakistan, sponsored by US Embassy Pakistan, Relo Pakistan, and Evolution for having me and providing me an excellent opportunity on this platform to have my say. So thank you very much. Next slide, please. First of all, we have the smart objectives of this session. So by the end of the session, I hope that you all will be able to know and discuss about dynamic teaching and learning skills. And similarly, you will be able to improve your level of understanding about the ICT integration in education, as well as understand the 21st century skills which are required especially for ESL learners, and eventually set ESL learning standards as per global requirements, which are very much important, and we'll see that how can you in a way improve and set high standards. Next slide, please. So before we start our today's topic properly, I would like to have your peer knowledge and your prior knowledge. So what is your concept about the topic, the term that is the dynamic teaching and learning? Please let me know, but we have a very short time. So your answer must come within the 2 minutes time frame. So the time starts now. Just write down that what do you understand the term dynamic teaching and learning. Can we have the responses if they are coming?
Yes, Bahar, we are waiting for the responses to be poured by the attendees. Okay, there is a comment. It says, when you involve the students more instead of just sitting and listening. Uzma Shoaib says the students are actively involved. Tayyiba Zulfikar Ali says, teaching with a purpose to ensure maximum learning is dynamic teaching. Tahira Banu says, teaching which covers multiple skills and engagement of students is dynamic teaching. Hasib says, the dynamic teaching and learning means trying different and innovative ways to teach and learn specifically. And other comments pop up. It says, teaching with technology or diverse strategies is dynamic teaching.
Okay, move on to next slide. So here we have what is the dynamic teaching and learning. So in a broader perspective, dynamic teaching actually encompasses the application and utilization of ICT integrated practices, which are also termed as blended, virtual, hybrid, online, and e-teaching and learning practices. So dynamic learning is beyond the boundaries. It is something which is not like we have in traditional classrooms, something that is static, or something that is face-to-face teaching and learning, or something that is face-to-face teaching and learning inside the classrooms. Rather, dynamic teaching is something where we use especially technology, the internet, the social media, some of the applications, as well as some websites. So you may have heard about the flipped teaching and learning, or simply we call flipped classroom. It is one of the key components of dynamic learning, where we normally use social media, especially social media platforms. Likewise, we are having at the moment that you are all, and including me, we are on Facebook, one of the platforms of the social media. And similarly, there are unlimited and so many software applications which are being used in order to have a dynamic sort of teaching and learning. So in this particular way, dynamic learning is something that is totally different from the traditional sort of approach. As the world has been changed things are changing at a very rapid pace. So same thing is happening as far as the educational world is concerned. We see so many new things are coming. Technologies are in a way conquering the educational world, and we see that we are being replaced as far as our methodologies and the techniques of teaching and learning are concerned, through something that is dynamic, something that is new, something that is challenging, and something that is updated. Next slide. So here we have a video for you, and hopefully this video will further enable you understand.
Technology is not a magic solution for education, but it is an opportunity to do things differently, to deepen the learning, to engage students in new ways, and an opportunity for dynamic learning. Dynamic learning is characterized by constant change and activity. This learning takes place organically, growing and evolving through more unconventional means, with the learner collaborating, creating, and communicating to demonstrate progress and mastery. There are 5 dynamic learning characteristics in this framework. Beyond the bell. Learning doesn't have to end when the bell rings. With digital tools and devices that are available 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, students can continue to learn, collaborate, grow, and dig deeper into their learning on their own terms. And by extending learning beyond the school day, I don't mean homework. This is a mindset based on a belief that learning can take place anytime and anywhere. Beyond the grade level and subject area. The education system we have today is based on a factory model in which students are placed on a conveyor belt. What they learn is what fits inside the factory box, all dictated by their ages and grade levels. Let's take kids off the conveyor belt of education and give them opportunities to move beyond the subject areas we teach, allowing students to explore their own passions and interests. Learning doesn't have to fit inside a box. Beyond the walls. Bring your students to the world and bring the world to your students. Every student in every grade should have the opportunity to publish their work for a global audience. The moment they get their first comment, a shift happens. Students suddenly care much more about the quality of their work. Now, flip that around. Bring the outside world into your classroom through global collaboration, social media, virtual field trips, video chats, and more. The possibilities are endless. Beyond the tools. Think beyond using digital tools to complete only traditional assignments, such as papers and reports. Use digital tools to do new things. Just going paperless or digital isn't enough. Use some of these new tools to go further, go deeper, and extend your students' learning. Reach beyond what you think a digital tool can do and should be used for, and challenge your students to demonstrate their learning in a new way. Beyond the due date. Allow students to continue work that interests them beyond the final assessment of an assignment or task. Thinking, learning, and exploring shouldn't be stifled simply because the submission deadline arrives. Moving toward more dynamic learning experiences means moving away from the one-and-done mentality. Real-world learning doesn't end. Dynamic learning is about pushing the boundaries of education, going beyond the idea of the traditional school day, beyond the physical location of the classroom, beyond using tools as digital substitutes, or even beyond the traditional notion of hard and fast due dates. What can you do today to move from static teaching to dynamic learning? Dig deeper into dynamic learning by reading Shake Up Learning by Casey Bell. ShakeUpLearningBook.com.
Next slide, please. Okay, so I hope that the video which you saw earlier further help you to improve your understanding as far as the term dynamic teaching and learning is concerned. Now we have dynamic teaching and learning tools which we use as far as the ICT integration in education, the process of teaching and learning is concerned. As you can see, so here are a number of social platforms and software applications, and some of these tools you are already familiar, like Facebook, which we are having at the moment, and WhatsApp, similarly YouTube. So we have Khan Academy, one of the common website which is used all over the world, especially in this part of the world. Similarly, we have Google Meetings, and we have Zoom, and we have Hippo Video. So there are unlimited tools which are available, and you can utilize them as far as the dynamic teaching and learning is concerned. And I hope that things are as the things are, and I hope that changing at a very rapid pace as the things are changing at a very rapid pace, quite common as far as the teaching and learning process in our part of the world is concerned. Next slide, please. So now, dynamic teaching and learning is an alternate during COVID-19 pandemic. So we saw in 2019, at the end of the 2019, that COVID-19 pandemic outburst all of a sudden created a problem. So the world all of a sudden stopped. So it emerged a sort of problem, and not only in our day-to-day life, a sort of problem, and not only in our day-to-day life or in our educational world. So this problem also demanded that we have had to see that problem in a unique way, and then we had to come up with some viable solutions. So in this particular regard, I want to connect the 4C skills, that how 4C skills are the dynamic teaching and learning process helped us, especially during pandemic situation. So the concept of the online emerged in our part of the world also, and this helped us in order to find out the problem as a solution, the problem in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. And to a greater extent, we saw that it helped us a lot. So the 21st century skills, which are 4C skills, are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. As far as the process of dynamic teaching and learning is concerned, it is actually a great source of improving the 4C skills, along with adapting the approach and the concept of dynamic learning, especially for the ESL learners. So you can communicate, you can collaborate, and you can improve your critical thinking, and you can also improve your creativity as a skill. What you get actually through the process of dynamic learning, that you get an opportunity to have communication with people having diverse and different cultural backgrounds. You share your ideas, you share your thoughts, you have your queries and questions, and sometimes you share your answers as well. So on the other hand, we also collaborate again with the people from different parts of the world, and we not only share our common problems, but also we try to find the common solution for them. Like we saw in the COVID-19 pandemic, that the world was having the same sort of problem, and eventually we all, have found it out the common goal, or the same goal, in terms of vaccination, or in terms of getting restricted to a particular area, limiting the movement. So the instructions were common all over the world. So in that particular way, we can collaborate and reach on a common goal or common objective. Similarly, critical thinking. So critical thinking is a process where you see certain problems in particular way, or in your own way, because you are the best judge yourself. So you must have some sort of critical thinking in order to see the problems which you are having, in order to problems to see any problems which you are having, and problems in any problems in any professional world, whether you have problems in professional world, whether you have problems in personal world, in your educational world. For example, if you are having some sort of problem as far as the learning English as a second language is concerned, suppose you want to improve your reading skills, or you want to improve your writing skills, or you want to improve your understanding, or even communicating skills or speaking skills. So you have to be critical in order to see the problem, and then not only becoming able to see the problem, but you have to be creative, and you have to try to solve that particular problem. So in this particular regard, dynamic learning actually provides an excellent platform, an excellent opportunity in order to be creative and improve your critical thinking. So what happens actually that the process of the dynamic teaching and learning as a whole not only provides you an updated information or the latest information, but the integration of technology or the internet also helps you to improve your 4C skills, which are very much important as far as the 21st century is concerned. So in that particular way, especially the college or the university level students can take maximum benefit of the dynamic teaching and learning process as well as improving their 4C skills. Next slide, please. So here we have that how you have to approach or what should be your approach as far as the process of dynamic learning is concerned. So first of all, you have to bear in mind and you have to keep in mind always that change has already been there. Change has already been started from macro to micro levels, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic situation. The world is quite different if we compare it the pre-COVID-19 world and the post-COVID-19 world. So the same thing has happened. The change has already been in every walk of life and every field of study, including English as a second language. So in this particular regard, dynamic approach, especially for ESL learners, actually opens new treasures of learning through collaboration, and which we have already discussed is one of the essential skills of the 21st century, and then peer-to-peer learning or one-on-one learning, then going beyond basic ICT skills and becoming creative, learning about other cultures, receiving individual attention, experiencing globalization in ESL learning. So ICT integration, or you have to set your curriculum as far as the learning English as a second language is concerned, based on the internet and based on the technology that you have. And then you have to be creative. Not only you have to critical but creative at the same time, and experience global sort of learning experiences. Global here I mean that global and local. So by mixing the things globally as well as locally, you can experience and you can have proper understanding and proper way of that how you have to improve your English and how you have to learn your English as a second language. So in that particular way, we have a global sort of platform, and we have global sort of platform, and we have it's called for the prayer time. So let's wait. Okay, so you must have clear sort of approach, a dynamic approach as far as English is a second language learning is concerned. That you have to bear in mind that the integration of the ICT or the use of technology, we mean internet and electronic gadgets. So whatever opportunity you have, whether you have computers, laptops, whether you have tablets or whether you have cell phones, just take the benefit of it and have your own curriculum, develop your own curriculum, in order to improve your English as a second language and learn it as per the global context or as per the global requirement, then you have to be creative, critical first and then creative. And always keep in mind that the local means global and local experience will help you to understand the things that what is happening in the current world, or where you stand, or where you has to be, where you have to be. So this is how you have to be very much clear as far as your dynamic approach for learning English as a second language is concerned. Next slide. So here we have dynamic teaching and learning in the context of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially in the context of Sustainable Development Goal number 4, SDG goal number 4 of 2030. So this goal says, this goal is mainly about quality education, and it ensures inclusive and equitable quality education, and it promotes lifelong learning and teaching opportunities for all. So this SDG goal number 4 is very much interesting. And basically, we all know that according to United Nations Charter, education is a universal right. So it must be given to each and every single child living on the planet Earth. So not only education, but quality education. Education based on equity and education based on equality, irrespective of minorities or irrespective of their caste and color and religion. At the same time, it also urges that there must be affordable technical and vocational education, especially for the special children or the differently abled children, so that they can live a respectable life in society, rather depending on somebody else. So at the same time, free education up to secondary level. Now see, if we want to make this world a peaceful place to live on, we have to give this universal right to each and every single child living on this planet Earth. Uh, Language actually does not have any sort of boundaries or barriers or limitations. Same is the case with English. English, we know that it has become a universal language. It has we know that it has become the international language. Now it has become beyond the universal international language. Now it has become the universal. What happens that English actually is the best platform, or English is the best mode of communication which provides you quality education as compared to any other language of the world. We have latest information, we have updated information, and we interact through English with different people having different cultural and socio-economic backgrounds. So the diversity is there as far as the English is concerned. So in that particular regard, English provides you an enormous opportunity to maintain or to sustain the concept of the quality education for all, or at least education is a universal right. So we can use English as a tool, and we can use it to ensure this equality, or ensure this universal right in terms of providing equal and based on equitability sort of education to each and every child, irrespective of their caste and color and the creed. So in this particular regard, I believe that dynamic teaching and learning is one of the best tool or the way which we can use in order to achieve this SDG goal number 4, which is about the quality education. Next slide, please. So here we have dynamic learning standards for English as second language learners. So first of all, you have to keep in mind that any successful ESL, means English as a second language learner, is the one who not only foresees any change, but also adapts and accepts the change along with improving his or her learning skills and approaches. Now, what you have to foresee, for example, as I already told you that things are changing at a very rapid pace. Likewise, we see that we are having e-jobs, and we now see that people are engaged and they earn money through writing online blogs or through developing their YouTube channels. So freelancing is also there. So this is how you have to foresee the change, that where the world is going or what is happening in the current world. And not only you have to be able to foresee the things, but you have to adapt and accept that particular change that is happening around you. So by accepting and adapting, actually, you can not only improve your skills and approaches, but you can also take benefit of it or take advantage of it. So English in this regard, I believe that provides an excellent opportunity. Nowadays, we see that people are earning handsome amount of money just by utilizing social media or the platform, or writing blogs, or doing freelancing. So this is also a way of doing the things dynamically. So if you are familiar doing the things dynamically, so if you are familiar, it is an added advantage. Learning is concerned, it is an added advantage to you. ESL learners always vision high, and they set challenging standards. So in this particular regard, that how you have to be, very much standardized in your approach, and how you have to set your visions very much high, that you have to adapt and you have to accept the change that is happening, and you have to be very much familiar, and you have to be very much modern and very much latest in your approach. So in this particular regard, we have Kurt Lewin's change model, which says, or which is about unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. So in simple words, it says that you have to learn, and then you have to unlearn, and then you have to relearn the things. So English is not something which if you are, your approach is that you have to learn English as a second language over a specific time period. No, it is something that is always, as I told you, as per the Kurt Lewin's model, that you have to learn and you have to unlearn and you have to relearn. Things are changing. And not only things are changing, but things are updating. Things are becoming modern as far as the ESL, English as a second language, is learning is concerned. So in that particular way, you have to be updated and you have to be modern in your approach, and you have to improve your skills. Now, by utilizing English as a second language at the international level, or at a social media platform which you are having, you can not only earn handsome amount of money, but you can be a professional as well. And we have so many examples, and where we can say that people are professional just by doing simple things, because they have good English, or they have some sort of grip as far as the English as a second language is concerned. So in this particular regard, you have to improve your ICT skills, integration in your learning approach, or in simple words, you have to be dynamic in your approach, or in simple, and then you have to be dynamic in your approach, adaptable, and then you have to be flexible. And similarly, you have to have your vision as far as the English as a second language learning is concerned, and then set your targets based on the vision. So vision is a lifelong journey. So vision that you have to learn English throughout your life. It is not something that you have to learn over a specific period of time or a specific age level. Rather, it is a lifelong journey. As I already told you, that things are updating, things are becoming modern. So in that particular way, you have to set out your vision, and then you have to set out your targets, and then set certain missions, that how you are going to achieve those targets, and always be result oriented. So what happens, that dynamic process of learning, especially English as a second language is concerned, that it actually provides an opportunity or a sort of platform where you interact with people having dynamic background or having different background. So This is why that we give priority as far as the English as a second language learning is concerned, that you have to be dynamic rather than static, or rather than traditional. So in this particular way, if you have set out your standards as far as English as a second language learning is concerned, and you have a clear vision and some targets, as well as a specific sort of and clear cut sort of mission in your mind, that how to achieve those particular targets, then I believe that you will have a very bright and very successful future. And this is how English as an international language and as a universal language is not only a mode of communication, but rather it is a way of living and earning, and living a very respectable life, and knowing the things, and living is an educated and is a well-informed human being. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is all from my side, and thank you very much. So a big thank you. It's time to take your questions. So you can ask me questions, but be precise so that I can answer maximum number of questions. Can we have questions when they are coming?
Yes, Bahar Khan, there is a question by Yasmin Aziz. She says, how can we change the mindset of the parents to make the learning process of students more effective?
Sorry, the last part I couldn't get it. Can you repeat it?
Okay. How can we change the mindset of parents to make the learning process of the students more effective?
See, today every student almost has some sort of electronic gadget. They have access, whether they use a cell phone or to some extent they use computers. So what they have, that they have to fill the generation gap or the thought process. Their parents, they think differently. So students, in order to take the maximum advantage of the benefit of the technology or the dynamic process of teaching and learning, they have to understand their parents that this is the way, this is the specific process of learning the things, or this is the specific process that the world is going in that particular direction. So in that particular way, every student must have regular communication. So there must not be communication gap between parents and the children. Communication is the best possible tool, and if they frequently and constantly communicate and make them understand, things become very much clear and easy.
Very well said, Bahar. So communication plays an important role.
Obviously,
We
it is
have
very much
so
important.
many comments. Sorry.
So can you read out some of the comments or the questions which we are having?
Yes. Aliza Malik in the comment says, a dynamic learning environment is characterized by change, activity, and progress. It is intentionally designed to meet the needs of all students while challenging them to enhance existing skills, interests, and understandings, as well as meaningful building ones.
Yes, she is very much right.
Okay. Sahar, if you continue, please.
Yes, Ms. Tassin, I would like to take over. So we have another question from Jasmeen. Jasam says, is it easy to opt for a dynamic approach in the classroom? And I think it is challenging, especially with students' diverse needs. What do you have to say, Mr. Bahar?
Yeah, I think it is very much easy, because everybody is using the gadgets, everybody is having these cell phones, and to some extent, whether you are a teacher or whether you are a student or whether you are a learner, you have some sort of experience. You obviously use some sort of social media platform, so it is not very much difficult. You don't need to have something that is extraordinary or something that is unique. What you have to do, that you have to plan and you have to prioritize things. Suppose if you waste your time, the time which you have got by just chatting or doing unnecessary things, then obviously you are wasting your time. But if you utilize your leisure time, by interacting with people having different cultural background and knowing about the things, obviously lots of material is there, very latest and updated sort of material is there. So what you have to do, just you have to switch the things, and you have to just follow the path. The direction is already there, and you have to make the things mix to take the maximum advantage of the things which you are having. I mean, the cell phones or the electronic gadgets or the internet are the things which you are having. It is not something that you have to be very much specific, and you have to invest something, or you have to give your extra energy. It's very much simple. The things are already around you, just you have to utilize them.
Well said, Bahar. I completely second you. Okay, so we have another comment from Nick Isse. I hope I am pronouncing correct. These variants of teaching tools can really upgrade the teaching styles of the teachers from traditional to dynamic way to suit the needs of the 21st century learners. And we couldn't agree more, I'm sure. There's one more comment from Aliza Malik. She says, a dynamic learning environment is characterized by change, activity, and progress. It is intentionally designed to meet the needs of all students while challenging them to enhance existing skills, interests, and understandings, as well as meaningfully building new ones. So thank you, Mr. Bahar. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. One more comment that I would like to share. There's a question actually from Khalid Latif, if you would please answer. How can we motivate students towards learning process?
Students, most of the times what happens, they feel bored inside the classrooms. So my entire session is about that we have to be beyond the classroom level of teaching and learning. So engage them, appreciate them, let them do things, and provide them a sort of platform where they can do the things by their own. I mean, make them critical and then make them creative. Then obviously they'll enjoy what we are doing. That we have actually, in a way, we think still believe in traditional sort of teaching and learning. So this is where the fault is. The students, especially the generation who are living in 21st century, they whether directly or indirectly, they have access to the electronic gadgets. So why don't let them to take advantage, and why don't let change our mind as a teacher, or our perception as a teacher, that learning, the process of teaching and learning has gone outside the classroom boundaries. So by adapting digital teaching and learning, we can overcome this problem.
Definitely. Very true, Bahar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. So nice of you.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay. So now we have with us Luca Laraja, and one of our virtual student federal service interns. He will present a short talk on the role of students in promoting equity and equality in US educational institutions. Let's learn from him how American institutes promote equity and equality. Over to you, Luca.